In the final months of World War II, one bridge became the focus of Adolf Adolf Hitler's fury and desperation. As Allied forces pushed deep into Germany in March 1945, they captured a critical crossing over the Rhine River, the Ludendorff Bridge at Remagen. This unexpected victory stunned the German High Command. The Rhine had long been considered the last great natural barrier protecting the heart of Germany. If the Allies crossed it intact, the road to the Ruhr industrial region, and ultimately Berlin, would lie open. Hitler, already facing collapse on multiple fronts, saw the bridge's capture not merely as a tactical loss, but as a symbolic humiliation. In response, he ordered an all-out effort to destroy it, throwing some of the Reich's most advanced and experimental weapons into the fight. What followed was one of the most intense and desperate bombardments of a single structure in modern warfare. Rockets, jet bombers, heavy artillery, and even massive mortars were unleashed in a frantic attempt to erase the Allied foothold. The battle for this bridge would demonstrate both the technological ambition and the strategic chaos of Nazi Germany in its final days. The bridge in question, known formally as the Ludendorff Bridge, spanned the Rhine near the small town of Remagen. Built during World War I, it had originally been intended to strengthen Germany's western defences and improve rail connections. Ironically, 3 decades later, it would serve the opposite purpose. On March 7, 1945, elements of the U.S. 9th Armored Division reached the Rhine and were astonished to find the bridge still standing. German engineers had prepared it for demolition, but the explosives failed to fully detonate. American troops rushed across under fire, securing the eastern bank before German forces could regroup. Within hours, thousands of Allied soldiers were streaming over the river. For the first time, the Western Allies had established a bridgehead across the Rhine on German soil. The psychological impact was enormous. German civilians and soldiers alike had believed the Rhine would halt the Allied advance. Instead, the bridge at Remagen became a glaring symbol of Germany's vulnerability. When news reached Hitler's headquarters, his reaction was explosive. He ordered immediate reprisals against officers responsible for failing to destroy the bridge. Several German commanders were arrested and later executed. To Hitler, the loss of the bridge was not just a military setback, it was a betrayal. He demanded that the structure be obliterated at any cost. Conventional artillery and air attacks began almost immediately, but these proved insufficient. The bridge was heavily defended by American anti-aircraft guns and protected by fighter patrols. German forces needed something more powerful, more precise, and more devastating. That desperation led them to deploy weapons that had previously been reserved for strategic terror or experimental use. The battle for the bridge transformed into a testing ground for Germany's most advanced military technology, deployed not in coordinated strategy, but in frantic retaliation. Among the weapons launched against the bridge were the infamous V-2 rocket missiles. These were the world's first long-range guided ballistic missiles, developed under the direction of Wernher von Braun. The V-2 had primarily been used to bombard cities like London and Antwerp, striking without warning at supersonic speed. Now, in March 1945, several were redirected toward the Remagen bridgehead. It was the first time ballistic missiles were used against a tactical battlefield target. However, the V-2 lacked precision. While some rockets landed near Remagen, none scored a direct hit on the bridge. The explosions caused casualties and damage in the surrounding area, but the structure remained intact. The deployment of such advanced weapons against a single bridge underscored the regime's desperation. In addition to rockets, Germany committed its revolutionary jet aircraft to the assault. The Messerschmitt Me 262, the world's first operational jet fighter, was tasked with bombing the bridge. Fast and heavily armed, the Me 262 represented a glimpse of the future of aerial warfare, yet even this cutting-edge aircraft struggled against concentrated American anti-aircraft fire. Pilots made repeated bombing runs, but the bridge's narrow structure proved difficult to hit. Several jets were shot down or forced to withdraw. Though technologically superior, the Me 262 could not compensate for Germany's dwindling fuel supplies, limited pilot training, and chaotic command structure. The jet's failure further demonstrated that advanced weapons alone could not reverse the strategic collapse unfolding across Germany. Heavy artillery also thundered toward Remagen. German batteries positioned along the eastern bank of the Rhine fired relentlessly. Railway guns and long-range cannons attempted to bracket the bridge with explosive shells. Despite near misses, the bridge continued to stand. American engineers worked tirelessly to repair damage, reinforcing weak points and keeping traffic moving. The resilience of the structure astonished observers. Built with massive steel arches and solid stone towers, it absorbed punishment that would have destroyed lesser constructions. Each failed attempt to destroy it deepened Hitler's frustration and intensified the assault. Perhaps the most dramatic weapon deployed was the massive Karl Gerät siege mortar. These enormous self-propelled mortars, among the largest ever built, were capable of firing shells weighing over 2 tons. Originally designed to smash fortified positions like those in Sevastopol, they were now aimed at a single bridge. Transporting and positioning such a weapon under chaotic battlefield conditions proved difficult. When finally fired, the mortar shells created craters and shock waves, but again, no decisive hit was achieved. The spectacle of giant mortars pounding a narrow steel span highlighted the mismatch between Germany's heavy siege weapons and the precision required for this mission. German commandos were also sent to sabotage the bridge. Under cover of darkness, swimmers attempted to plant explosives on the piers. American sentries and patrol boats detected and repelled these efforts. Mines floated downriver, hoping to drift into the bridge supports, but U.S. engineers intercepted them. Every attempt seemed to fail. The bridge had become not only a strategic objective, but a symbol of Allied momentum and German impotence. Meanwhile, American forces expanded their bridgehead rapidly. Engineers constructed pontoon bridges alongside the damaged span, ensuring redundancy in case the Ludendorff Bridge fell. Thousands of troops, tanks, and supply vehicles crossed daily. The Rhine barrier was effectively broken. German counterattacks grew weaker as fuel, ammunition, and manpower dwindled. The bridge's continued existence accelerated the collapse of organized resistance in Western Germany. The air above Remagen became a chaotic battlefield. German bombers and J darted through flak bursts, while American fighters maintained constant patrols. Anti-aircraft guns lined the riverbanks, firing almost continuously. Smoke and debris filled the sky. Despite the intensity of the bombardment, the bridge remained operational for several crucial days, long enough to alter the course of the campaign. On March 17, 1945, after enduring 10 days of relentless attack, the Ludendorff Bridge finally collapsed. Ironically, it did not fall to a V-2 rocket, jet bomber, or giant mortar shell. Structural damage combined with accumulated stress caused it to give way. Several American engineers working on repairs were killed in the collapse. By then, however, its mission had been accomplished. The capture and defense of the Remagen Bridge stunned the world. It shattered German expectations and emboldened Allied commanders. The Rhine was no longer an obstacle. Within weeks, Allied forces encircled the Ruhr and advanced towards central Germany. The bridge's survival, even temporarily, hastened the end of the war in Europe. For Hitler, the failed destruction of the bridge symbolized the unraveling of his regime. Advanced weapons like the V-2 and Me 262, once touted as wonder weapons, could not compensate for strategic collapse. The battle exposed the limits of technological innovation when divorced from realistic planning and resources. Historians often view the Battle of Remagen as a turning point in the Western Front's final phase. It demonstrated Allied adaptability and German desperation. The bridge became an enduring image of resilience under fire, representing both engineering strength and military determination. Today, the ruins of the Ludendorff Bridge's towers still stand in Remagen, silent witnesses to the ferocity of March 1945. They remind V-sitters that even the most advanced weapons cannot guarantee victory. In the end, it was speed, coordination, and determination, not rockets or giant mortars, that decided the fate of the Rhine crossing.